So we talked a little bit about rings culture and that came up. And for a while, I was somewhat of a slave to rings culture, but it was more so me not digging into sports the way that I should, and it was lazy analysis. Now, don't get me wrong. Can you knock certain players for not having a ring? Sure. It is something that you can point out.
It
Like
depends. It's contextual.
Right. Like your Karl Malones of the world, I can say a little something because the years that MJ left the league, whether it was the in-betweens before you and Stockton got over the hump, or it was after MJ left, you didn't get back. It's a blemish, but at the end of the day, he's still a top 5, top 7 power forward. He's still second or third all time in points.
Yeah.
And rings are important. Rings are
Mhm.
absolutely important, but it's a team game. This is not tennis. This is not golf. There is so much that you do not have control over. Like, you don't control your roster. You don't control your coach. You don't control the other team that you play. You don't control injuries. And I
Yeah.
think that we lose so much greatness. We ignore so much greatness because we get caught up into the ring. Like a Russell Westbrook, for example. I know his style of basketball is not championship basketball. It's not.
No.
But it's still good basketball. Again, not my style. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he does is amazing. He does things that nobody else can do. And if we get too caught up in the rings, we don't appreciate a player like a Russell Westbrook or even like a Brad Beal, who probably won't win a ring if he stays loyal, or a John Wall in his prime, or a D Rose in his prime, or a Gilbert Arenas. Like, come on, man. Like, there are great players who did great stuff who didn't get rings. Then you got Robert Ory, who has hands full of them, one of the greatest role players of all time, calling to be a Hall of Famer. It's like, nah, bro, you're not a Hall of Famer. So what are your thoughts
Right.
on ring culture?
I think it's easiest to sum it up like this. Making the conference finals, as your team just did, is an achievement. It's something you'll look back on, regardless of how it ends, in a couple years, and you should celebrate it. It's a great achievement for a team. The Sixers, the best moment of my basketball lifetime is AI getting to the finals and winning one game and then getting swept the rest of the way out. He didn't have a ring. We didn't have the better team. We got destroyed the rest of those. I mean, a couple of them were close, but we love that team. We revere that team. We like that team is full of legends as far as I'm concerned, and they didn't win a title. It should be a good thing to make the finals or make the conference finals. Like getting out of the first round, especially if it's the first time you've done it. Like that's a big thing. I think that we should celebrate more than just championships. We should celebrate getting there. Now, for certain players, like you said, like Karl Malone had a lot of shots where especially that last shot against Jordan, he should have pulled it out. Like he probably should have pulled out a couple of these championships. And it's only we judge him by rings because he should have some. But then there's people like Charles Barkley, where like
He didn't have a
he's
chance. He never had a legitimate chance to win a ring.
yeah, and the one chance he actually had, Kevin Johnson didn't show up for the first two games, and they got in. I think what was it, 2-0 hole, 3-0
So
hole, maybe. Um, so like you don't hold that against Barkley, just because he didn't win a ring.
Shaq does.
There's just like yeah, of course. Well, that's a whole nother thing. But then there's people like Steve Nash, where like some things just seem to roll the wrong way every time he got close, like that Artest put back out of nowhere, the Robert Ory screen into the
Yeah.
deck where Amari got suspended, like just weird stuff. It's
And did you know
fluky.
Steve said he kind of sold it a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And what people forget is they won the game that Amari got suspended. I believe they literally won the game after that. So it's 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 not we can't just and again it's funny because I think Kevin Durant found this out the hard way. He was like, it's all about rings. And then he went and got the easiest ring he could get. And he's on record as saying it didn't feel like he thought it was going to feel, which means it's not about rings. It's about the journey to get the ring also, especially for the player.
It's about
Um,
playing the game. Like players like to play. They like to do things.